Halo, or more specifically, the Flood and Combat Evolved, has one of the best uses of an existential threat as a plot device that I have ever seen in gaming. The Flood is first introduced in the mission 343 Guilty Spark, after being sent by Cortana to find Captain Keyes, the captain of the ship we arrived on at the start of the game. His last known location was in a swamp on Halo, and we fight our way through this ominous swamp and delve deeper into some ruins, coming across and fighting some grunts and jackals on the way, but surprisingly no elites. We also find the remnants of battles with dead Marines and Covenant on both sides, and some defensive fortifications left behind by the Covenant, but they don't seem to be defending anything, at least not in a firefight. More like they were trying to hide from something or someone, barricading themselves inside these small rooms. Curiously, we also find the Covenant defenses, like turrets, aren't pointing towards us, they're pointing away from us. And eventually, fighting our way through the ruins, we find this guy.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out!
At this point, it starts to settle in, and some of the subtle signs from earlier in the level that you might have missed or misinterpreted become obvious. This isn't a battle with the Covenant and the humans, it's something else. We push on some more, and we find Private Jenkins' helmet and body camera, and through his eyes, for the first time, we see the Flood. And they're everywhere. Through Jenkins' last moments, we were able to see just how quickly the Flood were able to overwhelm the Marines. Soon after, we are the ones fighting the Flood, and we're being swarmed from every angle, realizing some of the defenses left behind by the Covenant were to fight the Flood and not the UNSC. Even the ruins with locked doors now being completely infested by the Flood. But eventually, Master Chief, being the absolute unit that he is, fights his way out of the ruins, regrouping with some Marines, one of the largest squads in the game, pushing back through the swamp against the Flood. The Marines are easily overwhelmed against the swarm, and as you hold them off, Guilty Spark appears and offers to transport us away, leaving the remaining Marines to their fate. This is the last time we fight with the Marines for the rest of the game. The environmental storytelling in this mission is incredible, and really helps to contextualize the Flood through gameplay. At the start of this mission, there's actually some Flood running away in the backdrop, which I think is a cool Easter egg, but there are also the barricades left by the Covenant keeping the Flood out, and of course our friend. And these all serve to prepare us in anticipation for the Flood's reveal and the unraveling of that mystery. It also shows us the Covenant, which until this point in the game were the main antagonists, and I believe our only antagonists, and they were easily defeated by the Flood, showing us just how great and immediate a threat they are. The mission also showcases some of the Flood's abilities, namely the Flood's ability to infect hosts both living and dead, using their bodies as their own. We also see some earlier cases of the Flood using weapons, showing us they're not just absent-minded infected, they're intelligent and adaptable. And Halo shows us all of this without saying a single word to the player. And that is incredible level design. The introduction to the Flood is perfect. It builds up the suspense of an unknown threat and uses our current enemy, the Covenant, as fodder to show just how powerful they are. It shows the Flood in its purest form, an overwhelming and unpredictable force, which, unlike the Covenant, who are the threat we knew, are completely alien and unknown to us. And it's this sense of mystery that makes the Flood so interesting. What do they want, and what cause are they fighting for? In the next mission, we fight our way through the library, and obtain the index, which Guilty Spark tells us will help activate Halo and stop the Flood. Honestly, I don't have much to say about the library, but we do see a few interesting things. We see that the Flood have completely overrun the library, infecting everything, human and Covenant alike. We also see that they have a much wider arsenal of weapons, showing a much higher capability that they either learn fast or inherit their host's memory. But pushing on through the library, we obtain the index, and we move on to the next mission, 2 Betrayals. During this mission, we prime Halo to fire, but just before we activate it, Cortana stops us. And through the conversation between Guilty Spark and Cortana, we find out that the Halo rings are actually ancient super weapons that the Forerunners, a now extinct race, left behind, which they designed specifically to combat the Flood. We also find out that the Forerunners determined that the only way to truly defeat the Flood is activating Halo, destroying their food source, which would effectively be all sentient life. This shows us that the Flood has been fought before, and it won. and the only way the Forerunners could stop them was ending everything themselves before the Flood could. At this point it sets in that the Flood isn't just some random alien invasion on Halo, it's much more dangerous than that and the Covenant, and it's only going to grow stronger. Determined to find another way, we decide to blow up the Pillar of Autumn, which is the ship from the first mission of the game, which will destroy Halo and hopefully the Flood on it. To do this, we need a neurotransmitter from Captain Keyes. To reach the Captain, we need to board a damaged Covenant dropship. On this dropship, we fight through Covenant and Flood alike, and the Captain contacts us a few times, warning us to stay away. But we fight through anyway, and eventually we reach him, and...
No human life signs detected. The Captain, he's one of them. We can't let the Flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do.
We find the Captain completely consumed and transformed by the Flood. Moving to inspect the nearby terminal, we're shown images of the Captain's interrogation and his shocking realization.
Keyes. Jacob. Captain. Service number 01928-19912-JK. Oh God, you don't want Earth, you want everything.
No more what you were. Memories. Emotions. All is now ours.
The Flood has one objective, to consume all life, and the only ways to stop it are to destroy Halo or activate Halo, and it's only the Chief and Cortana left. The build-up and revelation of the Flood's nature is incredible, with every subtle hint slowly raising the stakes until this is finally it. It's you or the Flood, and if you fail, everything ends. It's an incredible setup for Halo's final mission, and the use of Captain Keyes, who you came so far with, only to lose him in the final stages of the game, really drives that the Chief is the last hope. Finally, in the last mission of the game, we do it, and we cause the Pillar of Autumn to explode, destroying Halo and seemingly as the only survivors, ending the Flood. But we never truly know, not retrospectively anyway. I know Halo 2 exists, but we know the Flood was resilient and capable of destroying entire galaxies and the Forerunners. So we can never be quite sure that destroying Halo was enough, and it's this sense of mystery that makes the Flood feel so interesting. The want to understand the enemy, who was rapidly evolving, and the curiosity of what they will become next. And that's why the Flood is the perfect threat and the perfect plot device. It's the enemy that you don't know, but they know you, and they're just going to change every time you think you know them. Yeah, thank you for watching. I do really appreciate it, especially if you made it this far into the video. This is still a fresh channel, but the intention is one video per week. Originally I was going to do the full trilogy of Halo, but as I was making this, like, Halo CE and the Flood is just such an insanely cool vibe that I made it its own video. I might do Halo 2, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how to end videos, so bye!